Hi guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this tutorial video, we're going to be making a blazer pattern. I've already drafted my border line, as you can see above. So the line you see me drafting right now is I intentionally marked out few inches so that I will have space for my buttonhole space and my lapel space before I start drafting the basic bodice pattern itself. So at this point, I'm going to get my vertical measurements, which are my bust point, my waist point, and my hip point. And my bust point is 10.5 inches, my waist point is 17 inches, and my hip point is 25 inches, as you can see me drafting here in the video. So I'm marking it proportionally so I can be able to get a perfect straight line. And now I have to connect my straight line so we can be able to dive into the manipulation. Your straight lines are very important because any mistake in your straight lines can literally give an error in your body measurement. Okay, so now these are the measurements that we are working with. We have the bust point, which is 38 inches, the waist is 31 inches, and the hip is 45 inches. I've already told you guys my shoulder to bust point is 10.5, shoulder to waist is 17, shoulder to hip is 25. For the front neck depth, we're working with 3 inches, the front neck width 3 inches, the back neck depth 1 inch, and the back neck width 3 inches. Alright, so we're going to start with our shoulder length. My shoulder length is 17 inches divided by 2, which is 8.5. I'm going to mark that. And like I said, the neck width we are working for the front is 3 inches, and the neck depth as well is 3 inches. After getting my lines, I'm going to use my French curve to connect the front neck depth to the front neck width. And of course, our shoulder slope 1 inch below the shoulder length measurement, and we connect with our ruler. For our back neck depth, we're working with 1 inch, and of course we use our French curve to connect to the neck width. Now to get our armhole depth, you already know our calculation, which is bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, which is 7.8, approximately 8 inches. I told you guys I'm always particular about straight lines, so I'm going to check our 8.5 shoulder length before connecting my 8 inches down so I can be able to have a perfect straight line. Alright, so whatever we'll have there is automatically our chest point. So now I'm calculating the spacing between the armhole depth and the bust point so I can be able to have a perfect chest point measurement. Now I'm going to connect with my ruler. So now we have our chest point, and we have our bust point, we have our waist point, and of course we have our hip point. So now I'm going to connect our armhole depth, which is 8 inches. And when I'm done doing that, I'm going to get the midpoint of that length and of course go in 1/2 inch. And that's automatically a guide for us to get our front armhole because we already have our back armhole, which is the straight line you can see in the video. So at this point, I want to start imputing our horizontal measurement, which is bust point divided by 4 plus 1.5 sewing allowance, which is 11 inches. My waist 31 divided by 4 plus 1.5 sewing allowance. My hip divided by 4 plus 1.5 sewing allowance, as you can see in the video. Alright, so once I'm done calculating that, I'll start imputing them on those points. Mind you, this is a blazer pattern. We are definitely going to work with that measurement. Although it wasn't imputed in the calculation that you saw previously in the video, but I'm going to impute that on the pattern itself. I needed to say that to avoid confusion because it wasn't imputed in the calculation that you saw, but I'm going to impute it on this pattern. So that means I'm going to do my waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 sewing allowance plus 1 inch that allowance. So here I'm connecting my round hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 sewing allowance, and I'm going to get it down to the end of the pattern as well. For our nipple to nipple measurements, we're going to work with our normal calculation, which is bust measurement divided by 8 minus 1, which is 3.75 and approximately 4 inches. For the front dart, after imputing our nipple to nipple measurement from the bust point down to the hip point, we are going to come down 1 inch below the bust point to get our dart measurement for the front. Alright, so you come down 1 inch below the bust point and of course 2 inches above the hip point. Then you do your straight line and of course do your half inch the center front and the side front as well, so that you can be able to connect your dart measurement, as you can see in the video. It's pretty simple. So now I'm connecting with my straight ruler, and once I'm done doing that, I'm also going to connect the point down to the hip level because it will also be a guide when we are cutting out our pattern as well. So for the sake of this tutorial video, we are working with shoulder darts. So we're going to get the midpoint of our shoulder. That's a shoulder divided by 2, then connect to our bust point with a straight ruler, and of course just connect to the bust, to the 1 inch under the bust point. Now for our back armhole curve, we're going to connect, as you can see in the video. For the back, you're working with the straight line, which is the armhole depth. Then for the front, we are working with the 1/2 inch that we used, that we marked inward, so we can be able to get the front armhole curve. All right, as you can see in the video. Now I'm going to connect my body measurements from the waist to the bust point with a straight ruler, and of course from the waist point to the hip with a curve ruler, and of course I'm going to connect with my ruler down to the end of the pattern. All right, it's pretty simple. You can also use a hip curve for that point, which is the essence of a hip curve anyways. So now we are done with our basic bodice pattern. Easy peasy, right? So we're going to work on our lapel and of course our buttonhole space. So we're going to first start with the buttonhole space, which I came out 1 inch down to the end of the pattern. That's for the front pattern. And then you connect with our straight ruler. Okay, our straight lines are very important, as well as our curve lines. Very important. Now, for the sake of this tutorial video, I'm going to use the lapel measurement of 2 inches. Whatever works for you. You can use more than 2 inches. You can use less than 2 inches. Whatever you want, based on what you want to achieve. Okay, so whatever works for you. And for this tutorial video, our lapel point is going to end by the waist point. For some reason, you can do your lapel to end at your bust point, your under bust. It all depends on what you are working with and how you want your outcome to be. But for this tutorial video, our lapel length is going to be to the waist point, as you can see in the video. So now I'm connecting with our straight ruler. Now we are done with our lapel measurements. I'm going to also give a straight line to show you what the lapel is going to look like when you are done working on the fabric, and of course you iron it out. So you can see my hand. It's more like when you're done working on your lapel, the way you iron your lapel out, that's what the straight line is, just like a guide basically. And the point here is literally where the button is going to be. So I'm going to do my tracing right now because I have another paper under the paper that you can see on your screen. I was literally working on a double paper because I want to achieve the linings for both the front and the back pattern. I'm cutting with the front bodice manipulation so that I don't destroy the front bodice manipulation. So when I'm done cutting this, I'm going to trim out the extra measurement that I don't need for this front for my back pattern. So this is what our front blazer pattern looks like. And now I've already drawn my horizontal measurement as well, which was the reason why I was tracing on the paper. So I'm going to mark my chest points, my bust points, my waist point, and of course my hip points. Now we're going to work on our back darts, and of course we are working with our nipple to nipple measurement of 4 inches. But for the back darts, we're going to start with the chest point, connect our nipple to nipple measurement down to the end of the pattern, and of course use our straight ruler, as you can see in the video. You guys already know we have the straight ruler, we have the French curve, and we have the hip curve, and they are serving their purpose as long as our body measurements are concerned. So you need to have all of them because they are very important. Now that we are done marking our straight line, we're going to work on our dart measurement right now. For the back dart, we're going to come down 1/2 inch from the chest point. And of course, we'll mark our 1/2 inch by the center front and towards the side front. And of course, we have our 2 inches above the hip point, and we connect with our straight ruler. If you have gotten to this point in this video, it means this video is very useful to you. I would really appreciate it if you like, share, comment, engage, and of course, click on the notification bell so that whenever we post new videos, we get notified. All right? That will literally encourage and motivate me to make more videos for you guys. So now that we are done getting our dart lines, it's time to get the midpoint of our shoulder so we can be able to connect back to the 1/2 inch under the chest point, which is going to be a guide for us to trim out when we are cutting out our back dart measurement. So easy peasy, this is what the back looks like. Now, it's very important to let you know that you can literally do your blazer without a dart measurement, but the essence of this dart is the fact that it makes your blazer more balanced, and of course for the back measurement it helps to reduce some kind of bulge at the back. So you wouldn't want to make a blazer and the back is kind of bulgy, so the dart measurement helps to eliminate that. So now these are the pieces that we have for our blazer pattern. We have 4 pieces. We have the F1, the F2, the B1, the B2, which is the center front, center back, and side back. So now for that straight line that I marked towards the lapel area, this is what it looks like when you are done sewing your blazer and you want to iron. Like I said, your lapel measurement is based on what you want and what you want to achieve. I hope this video is quite useful. I hope it's as comprehensive as possible. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.